What are you doing?
I'm trying to figure these away. I don't know how long it's in this box.
So, winter time sucks. Winter time sucks. Winter time sucks. Did you ever figure out where the dustpan is?
No idea. It's not in the trash.
Want
a dustpan mission again?
I have no idea where it went at all.
Maybe if we get the cars out, pull them out, and then we can look around.
And clean house.
Yeah. It's fucking cold, but.
Do you know where the dustpan went? Because we have no idea where the dustpan went. You don't know where the dustpan went?
No. We even searched the trash.
I don't know where the dustpan went. It's not in the garbage pail that I know of. It's literally gone.
But it can't grow legs and walk away. It's not
That's what you think.
A little toaster.
No, it probably fell into one of them parallel universe things. I don't know
Why
where
would
it
they
went.
need the dustpan now?
Huh? Well, maybe it's dirty over there too. Alright, I gotta go put fuel in the
What am I doing with this?
I don't know. You know what I hate about winter? Everything. Everything about winter.
Don't spill any.
I'm trying not to.
It'd be like $5 if you spill some of it. You're overfilling it.
Almost.
That was a moment.
Almost had it.
It's taking all of it.
She's a champ.
How many gallons was in there?
Well, there's probably like 2.5 gallons in this, and this thing holds like 5 gallons.
Oh. You drip some.
Guys, $1.50 right there. Well, we need one of two things now. Either we need more diesel fuel or warmer weather.
Both.
Totally. No, warm weather. Don't.
Right now, Pennsylvania says both.
I just want warm weather. I don't know where to put this.
Would you stop putting things on the back of the Monty?
But it works so well.
The benefit of the Buick is he can't do that because she has a slope and it falls off.
Yep. But see, if I put it on the back of the Monty, the monkey always keeps an eye on it, so I know where everything's at. He always has at least one eye on it.
Well, he didn't do a good job about the dustpan.
He probably knows where it's at, bastard.
Do you want to ask him? What?
I found it.
Where is it? No. No. I looked there.
2 hours yesterday. $10.
This is what happens when you get easily distracted because you like clean.
It's dirty.
You know how we said that there is no oil leaks? And I was all excited. Well, today we came over to the Buick because I was excited to kind of get her for a test drive and those things. At the end of the last video, when we had it running, we realized that it was still leaking and it was coming from somewhere. So the benefit of having everything tore apart and cleaning everything up, we eliminated a lot of areas. So the timing chain cover is no longer leaking oil, but it helped us find what is. So it is actually the corner top part of the head where the oil is coming out of. And we discovered that by taking the power steering pump off. And Jared watched as I had the car running and revved it up, and it was leaking. That light sucks.
Situation. It's actually, we thought it was coming out of this bolt hole. Maybe, like a casting flaw or something like that. It wasn't. It's actually coming out at the head gasket between the deck and the cylinder head, which there's a drain back right around in that area. So what did we do to try to, so far, or the tack, because we really don't feel like pulling the cylinder heads, and it's not a bad head gasket per se, but it's just very ever so slightly weeping out of there. So
we just had the valve covers off. We checked the torque specs of all of the head bolts. They're at 100 pounds where they should be. When we were reading up on information on the heads, it says that after you run the motor, you should check them. So we thought that would be our first avenue, is check those. Put the valve cover back on, so we are about to fire it up to see if it is still leaking. And if it is, I really don't want to pull the heads. That's not something I want to do this year.
we're gonna jam a little JB Weld in there and paint over it and
pretend it never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's our goal.
It's maybe not the correct fix for all these guys, but it's what will hopefully slow it up and at least get us through one more season. Like I said, it's not, my fear was maybe somebody in the past had over torqued a head bolt and it started to pull the threads on the block, and you know, since she's owned it and racing it, kind of beating on it a little bit, and heat cycles, that it just started to progressively either get worse or loosen up, and that we were going to try to torque that bolt and it was going to pull the threads on it. Fortunately, that's not what happened, and it's got ARP head bolts in it. So we just retorqued everything in sequence, just in case maybe the guy that put the heads and stuff on it didn't do that the first go around. We just, you know, double checked all that stuff. They're all good. So I am about 50-50 on whether that'll stop the leak or not. I did get maybe a 1/16 of a turn out of that one head bolt before it torqued up, so it was worth a shot. Like I said, if not, it's getting a little bit of a JB luck stuck under there.
Yep. My bet is on that we're going to be over at Advance getting JB Weld. But we're about to see. The car's proved me wrong on multiple occasions.
I guess.
You ready to fire it up?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to give this to you. At least I get to hear it run.
Right. It's another fantastically cold day in Pennsylvania because, you know, we don't get winter until spring shows up, and then it gets cold around here. It's fantastic. So let's see how this cold start goes. Oh yeah, the starter issue too.
I I do have a starter issue. But you know what? She's gonna make it through this year and she's gonna like it.
They're probably not going to be able to see it, but it's literally right here under the corner of the head there, and it starts running down here. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but
no, I can try.
It's puddling right in here. There's actually a little bit of a puddle there. It's going to be difficult to see it in the camera, but I can see it. But yeah, it comes out. It looks like it. When the power steering pump bracket is on here, it looks like it was coming out of here, but as you can see, that's dry. It's this corner right back in here at the head gasket, underneath this boss on the cylinder head. So at this point, the only thing we can do is try to pack something in there. Yeah, you can see where the paint wants to come off of it. And it's not out of the corner of the head gasket. Stupid light. You ever just want to take something and throw it halfway across the world? Yeah. It's not at the corner of the intake gasket. We just fixed all that stuff, and that's got to be the silicone, and it's dry up there. But I literally watched it run out of here and down. So,
To advance for JB Weld.
that's all I know to do right now. We'll give it the old college try and see if that fixes it. But both of us are tired of dealing with oil leaks. So
A lot.
it's just annoying, if anything. Not that it's hurting anything, it's just freaking annoying. The racetrack guys don't like it when you leave little spots on their racetrack. I don't like it when I drive through the little spots on the racetrack.
I guess we have to address under the car too.
We're gonna fix one at a time. I don't know what's leaking back there.
Should we show them number 2?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
changed everything up top.
And this is what we walked into when we came in this morning. If you can see that, that's a nice little oil puddle down there. It's not that bad, but we're thinking the rear main seal.
Or back the oil pan.
Or back of the oil pan, or the other. So after we address this first one, I'm gonna go under the car, wipe everything down really, really clean, so that way we can try to track where that's coming from.
Always something to do.
A never-ending story.
Just want it fixed. Oh, well, we did. There's your other core support, or
Oh,
core
yeah.
support, your shroud.
Maybe the cover.
Cover.
She looks real nice.
We didn't have time to high build primer it and all, but
It looks brand new to me. It looks a lot better than the one that's on there. Replacement. To advance.
okay.
Gas can.
Oh. Yeah.
And backwards.
I got it. Is our neighbor still down there?
Yeah.
He is still down
Remember to say hi? In the trailer. So yeah.
there. Good. That's how you met a lot of people, ain't it?
Yeah.
We're gonna go down to the old storage unit that Jenna used to have, because there's a 3rd gen Camaro down here that we heard fire up earlier. And we're gonna make some new friends, hopefully. Or he's an asshole. I don't know. We'll find out. The first things first is did we leave this on and did it die?
No, I turned it off.
Okay. We gotta try to get up in there and take some of the paint, like expose the bare block.
Okay.
And then clean it off really well. We'll jam some of the good old steel stick up in there, which I've used this stuff before.
Or I already removed it.
I don't know.
Want to give it a shot without taking the paint off of it?
We can just try to clean it up best we can.
So it's right in this little corner, right here.
It's like literally right below, like.
Or right here.
It's this bolt hole, like underneath here, like where that comes out, and then that where the cylinder head meets the engine block. It's like right in that corner.
I just sprayed a shit ton of. We should have probably got some more of this.
I don't know if we should use the air hose to blow it out too, just to make sure nothing's in there. Well, yeah, we can repaint it. Ain't worried about that. Got it. 1 loop, 2 loops, 3, 4, all the, maybe it's a little bit.
I need gloves everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. It's more dry.
All right.
Have you ever used this stuff before?
No.
Okay.
Should I get you gloves?
No, it's literally just like Play-Doh. It's first off. Oh yeah.
Razor?
Can use a razor. Or you can just tear it off, but a razor will work as well. Go grab a razor.
Oh.
You probably won't need much of it.
Mm-mm.
Oh no, my gosh. But you see how it's black in the center? And
So I gotta play with it like Play-Doh?
just squeeze it and mold it together.
Looks like it's all one uniform color.
And tear a piece of it off. Like split that in half, because I don't know if you need that much of it. Yeah.
Or you want to touch it?
I don't care. I've never used gloves with it.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. And then go right under that bolt hole, right up in the corner, and wedge that sucker up in there.
Right? Or up here?
No. Yeah.
Alright, let's get more.
You need more of it?
Yeah. Fucking gloves. You want to touch in there?
Don't feel bad, look.
Nice birds, you don't even want to see it.
You getting that all cleaned up under there?
I'm doing my best. Doing my best.
Alright, you get that cleaned up. We JB welded our little spot here. So now that that's hard, I'm gonna make it all red. So the only people that know about it is you, me, and her.
Yes.
So that's fixed now. Nobody will ever even know. Yeah.
You and that light do not get along.
I hate this freaking flashlight.
It's a bad work. It's just a little.
It's a butthead. I don't like it. So nobody will ever know that anything was ever done there. And we just had it running for probably a good you got a shadow in your head. Now I can see you. 5-10 minutes, something like that.
About 5-10 minutes. It's at operating temp.
Yep. And that's usually right around when it would start leaking. So that's not leaking anymore. That's fixed. She got everything cleaned up underneath.
We did find where that oil was coming from.
Yeah. Yes.
Jared didn't want to talk about it. The back of the intake was leaking. It had a little pinhole, air bubble, where it was seeping the oil out of.
Yeah.
So it looks like we fixed that. That's bad.
Mm-hmm. Alright, go around there. We'll pick it up, set it, and then figure out where to go with it.
Okay, I know I'll need your help. Is she heavy?
Yeah. Good. No coolant.
Is that oil right there?
Yes, that's what I'm looking at.
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's typical.
Smell of gas.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's just from the carburetor. Because there's gas in it.
Just sitting up.
That's where it was leaking.
And yes, these guys all, well, maybe you didn't. Because I was blocking it.
What?
The absence of the valley pan.
Oh, yeah.
Another lesson learned. So if you get the composite gaskets from TA, and it says it on their website, so you got to go to the website and read
And
the
in their
directions.
catalog.
Also in the catalog. However, it did not say it with the gaskets because there was nothing with the gaskets. But you're supposed to cut the original metal valley shield off of the original steel gasket and leave that in there. I did not know that. We did not know that.
Did not know that.
We find that out now and we fix it. Also, there's a bunch of different thicknesses you can get. So, because let's say the heads were decked or the block was decked or anything that's going to change the dimensions and the heights and all that kind of stuff. So there's different thickness of intake gaskets you can get. Obviously, that's also going to change the distance in the end rails.
Yep.
So all those things have to be taken into consideration to try to eliminate leaks. None of which we did, and here we are.
It was right there.
Yep.
That was the whole problem.
And I mean,
So I don't see oil anywhere else on the end rail
no.
other than right here at the locator.
And it definitely squeezed, like that's the piece of right stuff. Like you can see the little beads and like it squeezed it, so who knows? It was also cold, maybe it didn't set up right anyhow. But let's get some rags and stuff down in there and
Start cleaning.
start cleaning this up.
Sounds like a plan.
Break.
Okay.
Alright. So the intake and everything's cleaned up. Jenna got the engine cleaned up. So that's all cleaned up, ready to go. So this go around, we're not using the composite gaskets again. We're just using the stock replacement gasket from Felpro, which is that. It's always a shadow around here. Which is that sucker, MS96005. Steel gaskets, valley pan, the end rails, and we're using the end. I don't want to say that. Probably gonna end up using the end rails this time.
Probably.
As
But
far as
we're gonna do the directions and measure it.
yeah, so per TA's, was that on TA's website? Where did you find that?
It's on TA's website. It's one of the directions for intake installation.
So what they want you to do is what you're supposed to do: dry fit the intake gasket without the end rails. You set the intake on there, measure the gap at the end rails, and then if they're less than 75% the thickness of the rubber gaskets, you ditch the gasket or ditch the rubber end rail seals and you just run silicone on it. If it's not, or if it's more, then you use the end rail gasket and a little bit of
Right stuff.
RTV.
In the corners.
Well, yeah, definitely in the corners, but then on the end rail gasket itself, seal. So, what I don't want to do is mess up that valley pan and gasket set because it kind of has to fold around when you set it in there. So, what my thought process is we'll sit the intake manifold on the engine without the intake gasket on it. I'll measure the gap, and then I will add the thickness of that gasket to that measurement. So that will represent if it was on the motor. And then we'll see where we're at. So
Yep.
that's the game plan. I'll sit you guys down because it's easier for both of us to handle this thing and set it on there. And then we'll take some measurements and we'll be back.
Let's do it.
Okay, so via feeler gauges, the gap between the end rail and the intake is 0.135. Our steel gasket is 0.040, so that's 0.1 shit
0.175.
0.175, right? Our gasket is 0.220, and if our math is correct, 75% of that is 0.165. So we are thicker than 75% of
Yep.
this, which means we have to use these and a little bit of right stuff.
Yep.
So that's what we're gonna do.
And hopefully it seals it this time.
Hopefully it seals it this time. So I guess we'll put a little bit around the coolant passages, in the corners, and a little bit on this. Just a light coat. And then pray to the Buick gods and hope that this thing stops leaking.
Yes.
Alright, so you want to get that back off of there and we'll reconvene.
Yep.
You're set, Skippy. Front up first. Yep. There we go. Carburetor makes a nice handle.
Yeah.